So what do we do when we have mixed numbers? Okay, so if we have 2 1/4 times 3 1/2, I have these two fractions here. So these two parts, 2 plus 1/4 times 3 plus 1/2. Um, I can put it into improper fractions and multiply. So that's the way we want to do it. Okay, now we don't want to do this though. So if we have a mixed number, we can't just do the numbers times numbers and fractions times fractions and get 2 times 3 is 6, 1/4 times 1/2 is 1/8. But why doesn't that work? Okay, how come that doesn't work, and why is it important to put into improper fraction? Well, the simple answer would be that improper fractions are times and divide only, so it makes it much easier to do the multiplication because it's all just times and divide. When we have pluses in there, well, plus math and times math are different. So we have to be careful when we mix the two. Okay, so why can we show that that doesn't work? Okay, so we can actually draw a picture and kind of show, well, if I have 2 1/4, let's say that's 2. Okay, and let's show a quarter here, 1/4 like that. So that's 2 1/4. And then going the other way, I have 3, and let's draw 1/8 here. 3 and plus 1/8. Okay, so those are my lengths here. So the area should be my answer. Well, here I have 3 times 3 is 2 times 3 is 6. Well, that's okay. There's my 6 there, so there's nothing wrong with that. If I just kind of draw this through, okay, so if I draw this through, I have this bottom right-hand corner is 1/8 times 1/4, so that's going to be, yeah, so sorry, this is going to be 1/4 here and 1/2, 3 1/2. Make that a little bit longer so it looks a little bit more proportional. Okay, so that's 3 1/2. And this bottom corner is length 1/2, width 1/4, so that's going to be, yeah, 1/2 times 1/4 is top times top, bottom times bottom, so there it is, 6 and 1/8. So what's the problem? Well, if I want to do 3 1/2 times 2 1/4, well, the answer is a whole area. I seem to be missing these parts here. Okay, so if I do just the numbers and numbers and fractions, I'm actually missing out. I'm missing these two parts. That's an important part of my area. And so to get that, if we actually know that, we can actually work out these areas. This area is going to be, what's it going to be? 3, so 1/2 times 6. So, well, that's not going to be 3. What am I talking about? That's going to be 1/2 times 2. That's equal to 1. That's going to be 3 times 1/4, which is 3/4 here. And that, if I include those two pieces, then that's the correct answer. So here I would have 7 and plus, this is 3/6. This is good, sorry, 6/8. And so I would have 7 and 7/8. And that's perfectly fine. Okay, and if you notice that 63 over 8 is actually 7 and 7/8. Okay, it's an improper fraction, and making it to a mixed number, that would be correct. So if we can account for these parts, that would give us a correct answer. However, doing just the whole number times whole number, fraction times fraction, doesn't give me the complete picture. Okay, and we are missing parts of this area or the parts of the answer. So to avoid that, the best thing to do is avoid the plus minus. Avoid the plus minus by making an improper fraction and just use times and divide. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to change everything to just times and divide and make it an easy problem instead of having that kind of missing plus, or that plus that's hiding in there. We're just going to convert that to an improper fraction. So 17 over 5. This is going to be 17 over 6. This is going to be 4 over 3. Now that it's improper, we just times on top, divide on bottom. So it's 17 times 17 times 4. Actually, we should just work that out. Okay, actually I do have a common factor there that I want to simplify. 17 times 17, 2 times 2. Okay, that's going to be 5 times 3 times 2 times, and the extra 3. One of these 2's cancel out. So 17 times 17 is 289. Double that's going to be 578. Okay, I'm not pausing on that, but 578. Okay, over 5 times 3 times 3, that's going to be over 45. And again, those are prime. Okay, they don't share any common factors, so there is my final answer. Okay, and again, leave it as an improper fraction because improper fractions are actually much easier to work with when we're dealing with fraction operations. So here we're going to change this into 31, so it's 24 plus 7 is 31 1/12 times 3. So 3 is, in fact, like I said, I think we should just make this one big fraction. So the 3 is a time, so it's on top. Okay, there's nothing on the bottom. We can't multiply 3 on the bottom because times on top, divide on bottom, and that 3 doesn't belong on the bottom. Okay, convert the 4.5 into an improper fraction. It's going to be 4 plus 1 is 9 on top, and then 2 on bottom. So there are common factors here. There's a common factor here of 3, and I think that's about it though. So we have 31 times 3, and I'm just going to leave that at 9 because we're not going to use a 3 factor here. 4 times 3 times 2, cancel out the 2's. Okay, so then since 31 is prime and 9 doesn't share any common factors, this is going to end up being 279. So 31 times 9 over 4 times 2 is 8. So there's my improper fraction solution to that multiplication of mixed numbers. So here we could just do some practice. Okay, again, times on top, divide on bottom. Okay, so we're going to have this times 5. Again, the big mistake would be timesing 5 here and timesing by 5 here. That won't work because remember that fractions are times on top, divide on bottom. So this just looks like this. 2 times 5 on top, 3 on bottom. So that's going to be 10 thirds. 5 groups of 2/3 gives me 10 1/3 pieces. So imagine having 2/3 fractions pieces and 5 groups of those. Okay, we're going to have 5 groups of 2/3 fractions. We're going to have 10 groups of 1/3 fractions. Okay, so here we're going to do, we have common factors here, so maybe we should factor some of this. Okay, so I'm going to write that as 3 times 2. The 4, I'm just going to leave that as 4 because I can see that there's a common factor. Oh, I should have just fixed that. I should have just done 6 and 12. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 times 2 times 2 for 12. Those 2 cancel out, so that common factor 6 cancels out, and I end up with 3 over 8. Okay, so I'll do a couple more, and then I want you to pause the video and do this on your own, and then you can come back and check your answers. Okay, so common factor here of 3, so I'm going to write that as 3 times 5 on top, 7 times 3 times 2 on bottom for the 6. The times 3 divide 3 cancel out, so I have 5 on top. 7 times 2, I have divide by 7, divide by 2 is same as dividing by 14. Looks like I have a common factor of 4 here. Nothing else seems to be common, so I'm going to write this as 4 times 5 on top. On the bottom, I'm going to write that as 9 times 4 times 3. Okay, so that times 4, divide 4 cancels. So we have times by 5, divide by 9 times 3, or divide by 9, divide by 3 is going to give us divide by 27. Okay, so there's our simplified fraction. And when we cancel factors like this, we can see that we have no more common factors to simplify, so we know that's simplest terms.